Hey golfers, Jack Spencer here, Practical Golf for All. Today I'd like to talk about something that I don't think enough people pay attention to, and that is your transition. Your transition from your backswing down into your downswing and through the strike. The golf swing is a dynamic and fluid movement, but you have to understand that on your backswing, you're moving to your trail side, and on your downswing, obviously, you're moving to your lead side. You must give your body time to gather itself for that change. Excuse me. You especially must give yourself a little bit of time if you want to slot the club. Now, I prefer to use the term slot the club. I don't really like shadowing the club. But if you don't allow yourself to gather, and I'm not talking necessarily about your movements and your big muscles. I'm talking about your fast twitch fibers and involuntary muscles that you don't even understand or realize that they want to hit the darn ball. You need to allow them to slow down and make that transition. Tempo, everybody's tempo is unique. And you see some people that take it back pretty quickly. You see other people that take it back much more deliberately, which is fine. I mean, that's whatever works for you is fine. What I am talking about is in your brain, you have to give yourself at least a split second at the top of that backswing to allow your body to readjust for the next movement, which is in the opposite direction of the backswing. It doesn't have to be a Hideki Matsuyama thing. In fact, when you tell yourself, I'm going to pause at the top, and then you look at a video of yourself, you may not see a pause at all, which is fine. But internally, you've initiated a pause. The other thing that will do is, the big thing about the transition, if you don't give yourself enough time to transition, you get the club back here and you want to come down and hit it. Okay. At best, at very best, that movement is going to keep the club head on the same pathway during the downswing that it went on during your backswing. At worst, it's probably going to come over the top because it's going to be like, ugh. I don't like the term shallowing the club. I think it's very difficult for a lot of people to do. But I think all of us can slot the club. And if you can't slot the club unless you give yourself a little bit of time to do it. So you hear little pause, then you can get that club down in the slot and go through the strike. Without that, if that becomes too quick at the very end of your backswing, that's probably not going to happen. If you happen to be having a day out on the course where your strikes aren't real pure, you're struggling a little bit, one of the things you can do that will help to reset your internal mechanisms, so to speak. Say you've got a 9-iron into this green. Your normal 9-iron distance. Take an 8-iron. Choke down on it. Choke down on it, a couple inches. Set up and deliberately make a nice, smooth, slow swing. The reason why I told you to choke down on it a couple of inches is the solid contact that's going to occur because of that is probably going to give you almost your full 8-iron distance. So by choking down, 2 inches or so, it should be more like the 9-iron distance that you're trying to achieve. But one thing it will do is it will allow your body the chance to gather itself so that your contact is much more crisp, much more consistent. Just like that. Again, I'm not talking about a prolonged pause at the top like Hideki Matsuyama. I'm talking about what your brain might consider a pause at the top. May not even be noticeable. It doesn't need to be noticeable. What it needs to be is just long enough to recover from the backward motion so that you can initiate the forward motion. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed this.